Okay, great. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to our speaker community call in this month. And, just a quick one, if you're not a member of our Heart Power Global Nation yet, for which we started to run these kind of calls, please join us there. I'm also going to share that link with that community of speakers, entrepreneurs, and others that you can exchange with and connect with and support each other. I'm going to put that link here into the chat, so you have that one. So join us if you're not a member of our Heart Power Global Nation yet, which we launched at the beginning of, beginning of 2020, because people said we need to come closer together and support and actively connect with each other. So if you're not part of that yet, please join us. And maybe a little bit of an introduction. We always have a couple of newbies with us that don't even know who's YOUnique. Well, I'm the founder of Heart Powered Business. Our mantra is speak up, scale up, impact the world. Well, we've helped really hundreds of clients from around 50 countries and more than 50 countries by now to go professional with their speaking and also to grow their business significantly, doubling, tripling, and even quadrupling their income with our Voice to Millions framework. And I myself have been a paid speaker for around 20 years. I've been standing on stage in around 25 and more countries by now on 5 continents. And if you want to use speaking to grow your business, well, I'm also sharing something with you at the beginning of every session, every time. And that is what I call our Speak to Scale map, which includes my 50 ways of how you use the power of your voice, how you use speaking to grow your own business. So that I put in the link into the chat as well. And, but this session is really not about me at all. It's all about you and about, you growing, stepping up with your speaking, growing your speaker business. And it's also about our precious guests that will inspire you to really get practical hints and tips from our guest experts that you can apply right away for your speaking and your business. You can also ask your personal questions on how to make your speaking and your business flourish further. Also get help and support from others on your own high priority projects. You can share that with us towards the end of our session today. So if you need any help with that, let us know. Also, as we have people from all over the world, from the US, even our guests from the US today, all over Europe, the Middle East, Asia, often enough, just simply take a break and have fun with us, no matter if it's dinner time or breakfast time for you. Just take a break and get inspired. And as you know, we run these sessions quite interactively, so you can ask your questions anytime in the chat. I and our guest today will keep an eye on that, and also at the end of our session today. And also mute yourself when you're not speaking, because we are recording this. The recording will sit in our Hall of Fame, so you want to have a sparkling recording. So please mute yourself when you're not speaking. And every month we have an inspiring topic. And today we talk about how you create a speaker brand and how you turn your speaker brand into profit. And the title is really The Magic is You, because you know that you have a unique message that can touch many lives. And still there are many speakers out there that seem to be speaking about a similar topic. And the question is, how do you stand out? Right? How do you build your own unique brand around your message that gets remembered, that people speak about? Well, to be memorable, don't just look, at the outside, look inside, because the key to really turning your speaker brand into speaking profit, you cannot find it in other speakers, but you can find it in yourself. So you want to look inside to really discover what makes you truly unique, because that is your foundation to your own unique speaker brand. And once you found it, right, then you're ready to really show up fully and unconditionally as a speaker, as an expert in your business, with your business as well. And today, our guest will walk you through the fundamental steps on how you establish, and not only establish and create it, but how you live your speaker brand in a way that you're authentic, that you're sincere, and in a way that really creates tangible business results, right? So the question is, who is our guest today? Well, it's a very special, the one and only amazing Jay Mandel. He's really a brand coach, and he's also himself a great speaker. And He has a really powerful story. He used self-reflection and personal discovery to shift from a 20-year career in corporate America to a fulfilling career as a professor, speaker, coach, and consultant. And as a speaker, we need to drink sometimes. Give me a second. Okay, just had something in my throat. So, he is an amazing speaker and brand coach. And he's also the founder of Your Brand Coach, a brand management company based in New York City in the US. And he crafts brands for some of the most prestigious companies. And he also educates students. And I think we even have someone from his students here with us at prestigious universities. And he really offers coaching, consulting, keynote speakers, workshops, and a lot more around how you build a thriving, outstanding brand. He also served as a director of marketing at IBM, like his clients and the companies he worked with is like the who is who, sounds like the who is who. He served as director of marketing at IBM, the vice president of global digital marketing at MasterCard, and digital marketing manager at CIT. He's a corporate trainer for the Association of National Advertisers. He's part of the marketing faculty at Sacred Heart University. And he serves as a professor of marketing at Fordham University and the Fashion Institute of Technology. And he's also writing a book right now that he's going to publish next year. And I definitely invite you already right now to keep an eye out on that, because it's he'll talk about how you craft your own brand strategy in 3 steps. Okay, he's going to describe a purpose-driven approach to branding, and the book is going to come out next year. But we have him right here, right now with us. So Jay, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. Round of applause. I just got tired listening to all the things that I'm doing. Thank you, Monique, for that introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to share with all of you. Monique, I want to thank you also just for being my coach and mentor, and really helping me to get to where I am today. I mean, it wouldn't have been possible without your help and support. So thank you very much. So I am going to share my screen.
Right in.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to present. So actually, and I want to give Monique a little more credit to say, Brand to Profit, the Magic is You. That title we came up with together. And it just came after a long time of really thinking about what is the point of differentiation for me and who I serve and how I serve. And it's funny because the work that I do, it's very easy for me to do this work for other people. It was a little harder for me to do work for myself, to really get to that clarity of my very specific audience. And that insight actually helped me arrive at this statement, because I realized that it's very difficult for people to think about who they are, what is their impact in the world, and to speak very proudly about it. Sometimes it gets a little scary to share these things. So this is a presentation for you. And when I say for you, I mean that you have a specialized skill set. You're either a freelancer or a consultant. More than likely, you don't sell something, meaning you're not selling something on Amazon.com or something like that. Now, you may sell a product, but if you sell the product is not, Dove is just soap, right? But really what Dove ends up being is the campaign for real beauty. It's about self-esteem. And your product is more than the physical thing that you're selling, if you're selling something physical. This is for people that work collaboratively with your clients, and the product is you. So I want to ask, before we go on, I know a few of you, but could a few of you introduce yourselves and tell me what it is that you work on and what you sell? I know that the people that I know aren't shy, so maybe someone that I know could share.
I'm happy to if you think I've got something to say.
Yeah, I think you have something to say.
Always. So what do I sell? I sell hope to people in rebuilding their lives. So it's not a product that I can say, here, take this, swallow it, and you'll be fine. It's a change of mindset, really, and a working through to find the tools within yourself to be able to rebuild a post-divorce life.
Yes, and what is the your motto? Or what do you call your program?
It's called From Divorce to Dazzling.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
And we have Patty here. She raised her hand. So Patty, why don't you go?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm suffering a little bit of strep throat or something, which is paradoxical because I sell confidence through your voice. I work in leadership, I work in strategic communication, but mostly I work a program called Your Brave Voice, which is a program primarily for women to help them first to find their courage, their bravery to speak up. And then here's the paradox, to learn to play the most magnificent instrument in the world, the human voice, which is also the most difficult instrument to play. So I'm going to save my voice, but I'd like to be put on the spot. I've never said how I sell. I always say what I do. So I put my hand up to be on the spot. So thank you. And I will rest my chops again.
Thank you. Not to make you talk anymore, but I'm going to ask you another question. What did you do before you started with this part of your journey?
Well, now I'm an old lady and I have been a coach for over 50 years. So I first started out coaching in athletics, but in the last 20 to 25 years, I've been working mainly with leaders, executives in leadership. One of my former clients is on the call today, as well as working with executives in companies, corporations on strategic communication. Great.
Yeah, I got it. I think I have a friend that I think you would enjoy that seems to have a similar sort of presence. So thank you for introducing yourself.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, this is actually the first time I've ever presented this to a group. Does anyone feel that this doesn't describe them? Good. That was the intention, because when we're talking to an audience, we want to make sure that we're speaking to the audience and we're addressing something that is unique to that audience, and we want people to really perk up. And what I'm going to help you to think about is I'm going to share 3 principles to make your message stand out in today's crowded market, so that you could attract your dream clients. This is a speaker call, but ultimately, as we know, the reason we get up on stage, well, there are lots of reasons, and it could be just for the exhilaration for getting up on stage. It's a rush, but if we're all in business, it would be great if at the end of our speaking, we would be able to attract clients that we enjoy, clients that listen to us and speak to us, and really people that we can collaborate with. And one thing I want you to notice about the way I'm presenting this is that it includes lots of pictures of me with my clients. These are not stock photos. This is Michelle, and she's a client. And every so often I take pictures. Sometimes it's slightly awkward. It's like, hey, you mind taking a picture? Da, da, da. And then I always ask someone else. But I think it really makes a difference to really express who I am and who the type of clients that I work with. I want you all to look at these people and say to yourself, wow, that looks like me. This is Michelle is actually she's a personal assistant. And she and I are working on a dating app, taking the same skills that she has as a personal assistant and applying it to helping people to meet. So when she's a personal assistant, she helps people plan things. And the goal here was to shift from planning things for one person that's paying her, to planning things that make her feel really good about delivering something of value to more people. So here are the principles, the 3 principles. Number 1, creating your personal brand is the only way to stand out. Number 2, tricks and hacks won't help you differentiate from your competitors. And number 3, quality always triumphs over quantity. This is Evelyn. Evelyn is an entrepreneur. She was one of the first people that paid to do work for her. She started a line of essential oils called Bija Essence. These essential oils are, there's a story behind them. Evelyn is Mexican, and she grew up in Mexico, and she watched her grandmother apply essential oils to her, and it was a part of life in Mexico. Well, she married an Indian man and watched the same pattern of the elder people applying the essential oils in India. And that was the inspiration for Bija Essence. And so the principles that we're going to talk about today were applied to her business. And she used those principles to create a very unique story that marries herself with the brand that she built. And you could look at it on her website, bijaessence.com. So going to principle 1, creating your personal brand and owning it is the only way to stand out. Does anyone not know who this is? Oh, wow. So this guy is named Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a potty mouth. He is an entrepreneur. I'll tell you a little bit about him. Gary Vaynerchuk is an entrepreneur. And I just happened to bump into him on the street a couple months ago, right in my neighborhood. I think he lives near me. But anyway, Gary V started his life. He had lemonade stands, but it wasn't like I used to say that it wasn't like the lemonade stands that I have, but I recently had lemonade stand with my children, and we raised $300. So I had a quite successful lemonade stand, but he made thousands of dollars with his lemonade stands. Gary V then went into selling baseball cards, but the real breakthrough for Gary V was that he worked in his father's wine store at the dawn of the e-commerce era and helped it go from millions to like $1 million business to loads of millions more. It scaled that business using e-commerce for the first time. And then he started this group called VaynerMedia, and he established just this way of speaking and engaging. So I encourage all of you to follow him on LinkedIn, because the way that he speaks is unapologetically Gary V. And he writes books. And one of the books he wrote is called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And that book basically says that you want to give people value with the jabs. You just keep on giving, giving, giving. But then eventually the right hook is the offer. And we're not, that's the way he says it. There's other ways that you can look at it. And so he's been before his time on cryptocurrency. Hopefully he's right on cryptocurrency. He's been before his time on LinkedIn. He's been before his time on TikTok. And he's really built a brand that is memorable and consistent and clear. So how do we build a brand that is memorable and consistent and clear? Well, you need a solid foundation to build your brand. And the way to do that is to establish your core values. So let me tell you a little story of how I came to establish my core values. I worked at MasterCard for about 8 years. I worked at IBM for about a half a year. So yes, it's on my resume, but IBM wasn't the biggest highlight of my career. And after I left IBM, it was right before my 40th birthday. And I was feeling a little lost, a little overwhelmed, and I wasn't quite sure what was next. I had this gut feeling inside myself that I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so fast forward to January, this was October that this happened. Fast forward to January, and there was a workshop at my alma mater, Columbia University, and the workshop was called Reverse Engineering Your Career from Your Passion. And I attended that workshop, and the speaker named Pedro Manrique said that if you don't have core values, then you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going, and you're not able to measure that. And he suggested that you come up with core values. And in that workshop, which just happened to be at the right place and the right time for me, I defined core values: candor, which to me means caring personally and challenging directly, curiosity, and collaboration. Now, could there be more things in my core values? Absolutely. But these 3 C's are memorable to me. And it's very easy for me to share them and live them. And so I defined those on that day, and I haven't looked back. Actually, I've looked back a couple of times. We all look back. There's ups and downs in our lives. But those values became the barometer for what I do and what I don't do. And the core values are all about me. But there's also things in there that are valuable to other people. And having those core values really allowed me to focus on building a brand that is memorable. So we're in a speech workshop here, and let me ask you, does anyone have any core values that you'd like to share, or not have core values, or any thoughts on core values at this point?
Well, my core value is to always meet my client where they are, to enter into their world, to be able to understand it and be able to find the best way to facilitate their moving forward in their lives. So I guess it's just being in a space of listening.
Okay, that I appreciate that, and I understand that from knowing you. So thank you for sharing that. Anya?
Oh, good morning, Jay. Yes.
Okay.
I apologize for not showing my video. I'm not looking too well this morning, but I'm Ani Kachin. I'm the founder of Ani Fine Jewelry, a jewelry design production atelier specializing in creating wearable art that is custom made and responsibly produced in New York City.
Oh, good.
I'm on the board of the JDPN, which members are from FIT, Jay,
Oh, good.
and the AJA of New York. So one of my core values is that the jewelry that I make is to be created for people who may be overlooked or not noticed. So one of my core values is to imbue in the physical, tangible work that I do and a personal attribute of the individual that will be the owner.
Can I want to thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. I want to ask you both you and Sheila a question, because in the spirit of radical candor, I'm going to I noticed this.
Yes.
In my methodology, I have this thing that I'm going to show you next, which is called the Simple Marketing Promise, which takes the core values that you have and applies it to your audience. But I want to ask both you, Ani and Sheila, and anyone else on the call. My gut says that both of you are thinking too far ahead with these values. Can I ask you both why you're doing what you're doing? Like, I know we all say start with why. One of my first professors was Simon Sinek before he was Simon Sinek. But can we dig a little deeper for a second and forget about your clients for a second and tell me why you're doing what you're doing?
Because it's fun.
That's good. There we
fun.
go. Yep.
It's experimental.
What does this jewelry say about you?
It doesn't. What does it say about me?
Or I mean, you made a choice to pursue this over anything, over the other things you do. I'm sure you do other things as well.
Yes.
But like, what value made you think to yourself that this is the where I am, and this is where I want to be, and this is how I am?
Well, the value was to connect with other humans, because I had a very tragic little bit background, and I found myself alone, and I just wanted to do something that would give me joy, because there was no opportunity to pick up the phone and call family. Unfortunately, a lot of my family had died and passed away, and I was at a point where, I just wanted to get a little bit of a break and help, but there was just nobody to call. And I thought back to my childhood, and I always had wanted to do this type of work, but because of fear and safety, the trajectory went into a different route. And ironically, what was supposed to be safe in my life ended up not being so safe. And that's another long story. So I thought, well, the same safe thing kind of fell out from underneath me. So I might as well just do what I enjoy. And what I enjoy is what I always wanted to do from way back when. And that was, learn design and go to FIT, which I never got to do. But I said, well, my father was a master jeweler, so why not try to learn how to create that? Because that's something that he was self-taught.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, so I'm getting joy, I'm getting connection. These are values. So whether you do jewelry or not, these are things that are going to be with you. See, the thing about core values are, once you discover them, they don't change. At least in my humble opinion. Like, you can add values. Like I was thinking about adding continuous learning to mine, but I'm not. There's no deleting candor from me. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. Let's keep going. Sheila, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's doing what I love and doing what I am. I mean, I'm a 5th generation dreamer, so it's just a part of who I am. And I've always known that and didn't always appreciate that until one of my dreams actually saved my life. And it was like, yeah, you really need to focus on this more. So to me, it's about educating people about the power and wisdom contained in their dreams, but it's just me being me. I don't have to put anything on or pretend.
You don't have to define it. You show up. Great. Thank you both for sharing. And yeah, I'm gonna move on, if that's okay. But yeah, I really do appreciate both of you being vulnerable and sharing that. Having meaning in life, serving something beyond yourself, and developing the best within you gives something to hold on to. If any of you haven't seen this TED Talk, she also has a book, Emily Estefani Smith. She says that the power of meaning is much more significant than being happy. She studied under Martin Seligman, who was the father of positive psychology at University of Pennsylvania. And she says that there are 4 attributes of meaning. Attribute 1 is purpose. Attribute 2 is belonging. Attribute 3 is transcendence, and attribute 4 is storytelling. Purpose, obviously serving something greater than yourself. You can't serve something greater than yourself if you are not belonging to something. So if you're just talking to yourself, then that's not very effective. So that's belonging, giving it to more than just yourself. Transcendence is that feeling when you want to pinch yourself. And so Ani, when you're creating your jewelry, and when it comes up, when you sell your first piece, you must feel a great sense of joy. And that's transcendence. Pinch yourself, because it's like a heavenly feeling. And then there's storytelling, which is not the most parallel to the other three. And that is the story you tell yourself about yourself, and then the story you tell other people. And so that's only yours to create. So when people create core values and they say happiness, or they say family, I say, well, that's great. I love my family too, but that's not my core value. My core value is candor and challenging my son directly and caring personally about him having the skills to be a productive adult, and him learning and growing and evolving. My daughter too. That's a value. But family, I call that like a crutch value. It's like we all love our family. The goal for the core values is for you to have these things that personally connect yourself with what's meaningful to yourself. So what's next from core values? Here's my family, speaking of my family. So we all have triggers in life. These are the events that shake the ground beneath our feet and transform us for the better. And Monique shares lots of guidance on, there's a special story arc that is used to create a speech. And it's remarkable how just naturally these things start to come out. So Ani, you just talked about some triggers. Anya, all the people on this call have triggers. Well, my trigger in my life to date is the gift and daily lessons I receive as a dad. Becoming a father taught me to love and be loved unconditionally. So I forgot to mention that after I defined my core values, I filed for divorce. I realized that I couldn't live with my ex and be myself. The problem that I had living my life was that I was living a life of check, 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 check. Meet a person, get married before the age of 30, have 2 kids, live in New York, get your pay. MasterCard's a great place. Why don't you go back to MasterCard? It's like, well, I don't want to go back to MasterCard. That's not what I want to do with my life and career. But what I realized in my life is that I really needed to show up fully for my children. They need me in a way that no one else will need me. And when I made the bold sort of proclamation that I was going to leave, I actually became much more present for them, because I was much more myself. And it's so cool. My daughter made a little thing for me for Father's Day. And, I'm a professor. I'm an adjunct professor, but the way she introduced me as a professor, and it's one of many things, but she's like, my daddy, he works very hard and he's a professor. And it was just so cute. And I was really proud that she had this connection with what I was doing. So my rock bottom was the realization that the person that was in the way of my progress was me. And the only way for me to persevere was to get out of my own way. And I still work to this day to get out of my own way. Monique helps me a lot to get out of my own way. Imposter syndrome is very real. But I realized that the rock bottom wasn't the divorce. The rock bottom wasn't losing jobs or well, I only lost one job in my whole career, but losing that one job. The rock bottom was that if I'm going to persevere, I need to I need to take care of it. I need to own it. Okay. So there's a formula that I follow. And as you think about getting on stage, as you decide how you're going to select what are the platforms that you are going to present on, what is your movement? My coaching helps people to define their movement. First, you define the core values, then you define your promise. This is the promise you're going to keep for yourself, and this is the promise you're going to keep for others. It came from Seth Godin. I love Seth Godin. His stuff is great. It's from the book, This is Marketing. And the promise is, my product or service is for people who believe. I will focus on people who want, and I promise that engaging with what I make will help you get. So when you get up on stage, you need to think about that. So when I asked you all, does the connection of, are you a freelancer or a consultant and you serve people? That is the audience that I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. It took me a long time to get to that. But when I ask you the question, when my product is for people who believe, what I mean is, what do they believe? And it has nothing to do with you. You know, what is their worldview? What are they? My product is for people who believe that alternate side of the street parking in New York City has gotten out of control. You know, and you know, I will focus on people who want a solution to park their car that doesn't require them waiting on the side of the street for 2 hours every Thursday or Friday. I promise that engaging with what I make will help you get you know, your time back. You know, you need to be very, very specific about what they believe, and it's not just about the features and functionality, it's about the emotional connection. So here's my promise. My product is for people who are curious about their full potential to sell their skills as a service. I will focus on talented people who are tired of waking up at 3 in the morning worrying. And I promise to use my candor, expertise, experience, and network to guide you in building a brand and action plan to land your dream clients. If you connect with yourself, you'll understand what motivates you and translate it into a sincere offering that will allow you to show up fully for yourself and your clients. Guess what? If you don't want to be here or there or with your clients, they're going to know it. They're going to feel it, especially in the line of work that you're doing. Like, it's one thing if you sell the latest thing on Amazon.com, who cares? but you're selling yourself. Every piece of jewelry is an expression of yourself. Every training session that you facilitate is an expression of yourself, and you have to show up fully. And so that's the message. You need to really know yourself before you can push forward. But interestingly enough, after I defined these core values and I told the story and I shared all these details, I was taking on all these random clients. I was saying yes to everyone. I was working with people that I didn't like. I was working with people that I didn't trust. It was paying me, but it was killing me inside because I really didn't like waking up in the morning and talking to these people, because every time they would get on the phone with me, the values that they had and the values that I had, they were just not aligned. And so the friend told me, and this guy is an agency owner and he's written several books. He said that you're a hodgepodge of all these random stuff. You're speaking a good game, but you're not aligned. And so that's when it hit me. You know, we all have our stories in our life that can help us stand up in the competition and track clients we want to work with, but we shy away from them because we're afraid. You can't be all things to all people. You need to be focused. So your story is unique, and it's the foundation for creating your personal brand. And here is some feedback. Share your feelings, focus on others, assess your abilities, take baby steps, question your thoughts, stop comparing, stop fighting your feelings, refuse to let it hold you back. These are things that will help you get to that story. So let's get to principle 2. By the way, this was the deep part of the presentation, but the next part will be a little less deep. And I know I can't believe it's already 42 past the hour, so I'll hurry up. So tricks and hacks won't help you differentiate from your competitors. That's principle number 2. The problem is, and you know this as well as anyone, you all get the same emails that I get, these generic emails where they're like, oh, you could hire a personal assistant who can do this for you. Oh, I'm going to fill your mailbox with leads. No, you're not. You're not going to fill my mailbox with leads. The only way you're going to fill the mailbox with leads is if somehow, some way that you break through. And the only way to break through is if you, the owner of the service, know what you're talking about and inspire people. You probably could attract a few bottom dwellers or whatever you want, but these are not the kind of people you want to work with, right? So these industry best practices are not what's best for you. And this is the same for speeches. You can't get up on stage with some impersonal script. You can't tell that same story that everyone else tells. You need to tell a story that speaks to you and speaks to other people. So this applies to spammy tone-deaf messages. It applies to one-size-fits-all templates. You cannot pitch without adding value. So with so many people going after the same clients, how do you stand out? Well, here's what you do. You have to focus on giving value first. You have to focus on yourself first, understand yourself, and then connect yourself with that value. You want to hyper-personalize your messaging. I'm working with someone this day. This person sent me a Loom video and said hi after several messages, and he said, "Hi Jay, I looked at your website and this is great, this is great, this is great, but at the same time you could do this, 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 and this." And he was talking to me, not to 100 people. This wasn't any fill in the blank template, and it was like 15 minutes, and I listened to every second of it because he hyper personalized the message. And that's the kind of stuff that builds your authority. This is a very important slide. It's a little hokey to have this guy on the top of the mountain or whoever it is, but it says build a personal brand that you have so much authority over your competitors, and it will make your prospects feel like you are their only option. Build a personal brand so that you have so much authority over your competitors so that they feel that you are their only option. That is differentiation. That is powerful. When you get on stage, you are their only option. You are the only one that could do it the way that you do it. And so now to principle 3, quantity. Quality always triumphs over quantity. I need to figure out another way to say this because every time I say it, I mix up quality and quantity. You know what I mean though. So what you need to do here is you break your belief system, your limiting belief system. You work with clients that you enjoy. I have news for you. If you do a great speech and you attract one client and it's a good client, it's better than 100 clients that you don't enjoy working with. You don't need 100 clients in this world. If you're properly compensated for your work, you could do very well for yourself by charging what you're worth and limiting your clients to people you enjoy. It will be just fine. So by following this path, you'll be able to stand out for your competition and attract the clients you've been dreaming of working with. And if you apply these principles, your mindset will change and you will look at yourself and your business differently. And these are 3 people that I've worked with. One is named TJ Bennett. TJ Bennett recently told me that he is going to be pursuing coaching more seriously. Before, when I started working with him, he had this thing, it's called Kitty Thought Leaders. It's very cute and funny. But there was one day on his 51st birthday, after working with him for probably half a year or maybe a little more, he did this post where he showed himself in this melancholy look and he talked about what it's like to to become 51. And that post by far got more engagement than anything that he had ever written. And the reason why is he was vulnerable and he was showing up fully. He wasn't hiding behind his cats. And so after he did that, he started sharing a lot more content with himself. This is Jashona Simmons. She's a naturopathic doctor. She is, she saw all these people and helped them, but she didn't have a niche. She created this niche called Spa Moms because she is a mom and she wants to work with moms to help them. And then this is Jocelyn Brady. Jocelyn Brady, she is a brain coach. And Jocelyn Brady was helping people to define, was helping brands to tell their stories. And she realized that she wanted to help people to really define memorable, meaningful lives and stories. Every one of these people, by the way, has a platform and has a movement that could land them on stages everywhere, and you do too. That's what's so cool about all of the people that have decided to do what we've done. So, in summary, what did we learn today? Number one, creating your personal brand is the only way to stand out. Really owning it, really owning who you are, really owning what you do, why you do it, and what you don't do. Number two, people will sell you a lot of stuff, and that stuff is never going to differentiate you from the others. And number three, quality always triumphs over quantity. And so my question for you is, are you ready to stand out from the competition and attract your dream clients? Are you ready to step into the light? That this is at the new train station that is in New York City at the Moynihan Train Hall. And I think that's it. So with that said, we could, I guess, open it up to questions and answers and conversation.
Absolutely, I love that. I'm sure there was, first of all, Jay, thank you for sharing all these golden nuggets. I mean, that's a powerful description of how to craft a powerful speaker brand. And yeah, I mean, why don't we open the space to, to some questions and see who would like to join us, right? What did you always want to know? Yeah, and I see Patty is clapping, right? Patty, do you also want to ask a question? Or if you want to save your voice, Patty, I know how important it is for speakers to take care of your voice. You can also put it into the chat. Everyone else, what questions come up for you, for Jay? And also, I have a question to you. If you don't have a question, I'd like to know how strong do you feel your brand is as a speaker at the moment? How are you showing up to the world? Do you feel like how you position yourself as a speaker and as an entrepreneur right now? How strong do you feel that is? And what do you feel is needed to really step up? Annie, you unmuted yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I have a question. I feel I've gotten traction in what I do. I'm authentic and I'm networking quite a bit. I love to connect with people, but I'm finding that broadcasting is a very cumbersome task, which requires, I'm trying to see if it can be done organically, with the amount of knowledge that I have in my head and my capacity as an individual. But I'm finding that awareness of what I do is difficult to get out there with and without pitching, because it's that dichotomy of how do you get information out there but not pitch. It's a little delicate.
It's very delicate. Yes, go ahead.
And the other thing too is, realistically, as an individual maker creator, I'm one person. So if you value, you say you have a few clients, my clients that I have get what I do, but they're not necessarily high net worth clients, and all my clients stay in a repeat. But it's not that it's not that I'm consciously targeting high net worth people. So the value that I I ask is the value of the materials that they select, plus, you know, a reasonable amount of time. And I love doing it so much that I do it for free. That's the crazy part. So I guess it's probably, my question is twofold, is one, getting the message out there to people to know what I do. And then also, it's also, you know, charging what the rate is without people, you know, educating people quickly, so to speak. The material,
could you tell me why people buy your pieces?
I think they buy my pieces because they recognize it's not something that they can get in the store under a glass case. It's something I'm able to very quickly produce what does not already exist under the glass case.
Objects carry meaning that people associate with it.
Absolutely.
Right. You know, I could, you know, this crayon here, it's very important. It's not important. I'm just making that up. But what I'm saying to you is that what you are selling is it. Sorry to use the MasterCard priceless, but it might be priceless to people. And the only thing that's getting in the way of you charging more is yourself. You know, you want more clients, but charging less isn't the answer. And Monique could really help you in this world with the sort of the psychology around that. But one thing that Monique said to me a while ago that has stuck with me for a long time is she said to me, Jay, you are not pitching. You are helping people from drowning. So you know, so before and still to this day, I don't always enjoy the pitching conversation. I'd much rather do workshops like this and work with clients. You know, but if you're in this world, you need to, you know, do both. And so there might be something like jewelry is different for me because I don't fully understand the value proposition and I don't know you other than the few minutes we've talked. But my gut says that if we dug deep into it and we were able to connect, just like Bija Essence, the essential oils brand that I helped, just like Private Packs, which is a brand that I helped, and if you're able to connect a story with the people and they say, I need this so much that I just have to have it. That changes the whole dynamic of what you're saying and how you're saying it. And maybe you won't feel like you're bothering them, you know?
Yeah, no. It's because, for instance, I've just made a piece, and it was the husband wrote a beautiful statement on the back of the pendant for the wife, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. And my husband even said, Ani, can you make one of those for yourself and I'll buy it for you? And I said, no, you can't, because it's not the message from you. It's the message from this man to this woman. But I remember when I was going through the process, he said, Ani, the prices of gold are so high, you know, we ended up making it in 10 karat gold, which was affordable. So that's my point is, you know, I educate people. We don't control the cost of precious metals, right?
Yes.
But I was able to create that tangible object in a different material. But it's the message and the fact that the husband took the time to make this for his wife, and right now she's the only one who's going to have it. It's going to
That's exactly right. And so I'd like to spend some more time with you. One of my students at Sacred Heart actually did a project on heirloom jewelry that she created based on stuff that her grandfather did. And she followed this methodology through and through in order to get from I'm selling a physical thing to I'm selling something more than that. And so I think that would be helpful to share with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd really admire that, Annie, what you're saying. I have a ring. I have loads of jewelry, but I wear one ring because it's to do with, it's connected with the time of my dad's death and when I last saw him and all of that stuff. And it wasn't hugely expensive, but you can't buy it here in this country. Jay, that was amazing. You've set me off with, I'm so listening to Annie, the thing that you said, oh, I can't think what it is now. So I'm going to have to watch the rerun. But it was very challenging and also very sort of about the honesty and the candor. And I find I get in front of myself because I feel as though it's not, I get in my own way. But what you said, and I tell you, I need to have this, I need to look back and listen to it again to get it exactly, but really encouraging.
Well, good. And, you know, we should spend some more time on the phone together. Like, this is an open invitation to anyone here. You know, I've talked to a bunch of you. Sheila, I still owe you we have to connect. I spent about an hour and a half with Sigrid on Friday, and it was a beautiful thing. And so, you know, let's just talk and, you know, see where it takes us.
And I just wanted to quickly say to Annie, this is the power of work that, you know, Jay is doing, because it's really these questions, right? I think the more we become aware of what makes our brand authentic and unique, and what is the value we are creating, and what is why we are creating it, and sharing these stories and sharing your values with people, then what you call, you know, pitching is not actually even pitching anymore. It's sharing from your heart, right? And when you share from your heart, you build connection, not only mind to mind, but heart to heart. And then you talking with pride and confidence about the amazing jewelry you're creating is getting much easier. Yes?
Yes.
So just, you know, again, tapping into what Jay spoke about today, tapping into your why, tapping into your values, right? Even the story you just shared about this husband creating that token of love for his wife is a story in itself, and sharing these kind of things out there will make you magnetic. And that is actually brand building in its most beautiful form.
Yeah. But the thing is I didn't create that relationship. I just happened to be there, and I'm lucky enough to get to know the person, and he was able to know that I did this, and he initiated it.
Oh, well, that's what you did. Here's the thing.
Yeah, you didn't make it, you didn't create the relationship, but you gave it a physicality, a physical, it's really difficult to explain.
I can explain.
You know what I mean? There's a physical entity that's a representation. So that piece of jewelry is not the relationship. You didn't create that, but what you created was what came out of that. That was a physical reality of that relationship.
Yeah, so there's a story brand framework that I follow. It's a character has a problem and meets a guide who understands their fear and has a plan to help them avoid failure and lead them to success. You are not the hero of the story. You are the guide. Mm-hmm. And you understood what this person needed in order to create that heartfelt message. That's what you did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Cool. Do we have time for Jonah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got to go, guys. See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Do we have another 3 to 5 minutes, Jay, for Jonas?
Yeah, for me, sure, absolutely.
Okay, good. Jonas, you go ahead.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, what it is that you're selling. And I am in a position where I'm leading a community. And I've been making like plans with people from the community for a future vision. And now my goal is to, I sometimes think about it in a way that I'm building a boat. Now I'm gathering people on the boat in order to better the community as a whole for everybody. So it becomes more resilient for the future. It can react to changes that are going on and make a better environment for everybody. One of the things that we did was to make a brand for the region. We made a regional brand. We used one of the things we used was to ask the locals to look inwards, and designed the brand with them from that. And then now we're making a future plan for 2044 on what we want to happen in the region. And now I'm at a certain threshold with all this prep work of having all the tools ready, the plan, the brand, the vision. And now I have to start to gathering support from outside the community to join us in this vision for 2044. But at the same time, I'm trying to also, I mean, this is related to my core values of being part of the community and giving back. But to somehow translate that into a niche, a personal brand, a product, this work that we've been doing now for 8 years, building this momentum for this future vision and gathering, that is a little bit complicated for me. I have difficulty in seeing how I can use this to make it transferable into learnings for other, because it's so locally made. It's all
but I'm going to just say this. What you said yesterday on the call about the metaverse is universal. It's more than universal. Mark Zuckerberg came to visit as a result of something that you did or you had a part of, right? That's universal. And so one thing I'd like you to think about is there's a methodology called purpose, way, impact. It's mission, vision, values is confusing to people. Some people are like, what's the difference between mission and vision and value? Like there's just a lot of stuff. Purpose, what is your purpose? What is the way that you're going to deliver on that purpose? And what is the impact that you seek to have, which translates to mission, vision, and values? I am willing to bet that if you take those core values and then you sort of separate, you think my product is for people who believe, that is not specific to Iceland. There's definitely something more to that. And then I'll focus on people who want. Well, what is it that you helped to achieve? We're not going to answer it now, but there's certainly a lot to it, and it's definitely transferable.
Yeah, because my experience comes from a small fishing community in the east of Iceland, which Iceland as a whole has a unique, circumstances, gone through unique things. But what I'm trying to draw out of it now is what are the tools that we've been using? How have we engaged with people? How are we compiling this to make a process for people to join? And that's maybe that's where I'm at the moment. That is maybe the transferable part of what we're doing.
The good news is you're in the right place. I mean, if you spend a half a year with Monique, you're going to get to that level of clarity, and with the community. I mean, everything that she's going to share is designed perfectly to deliver on exactly what you're looking for.
And also, and I love your concept, Jay, as well. In the end, even when we're speakers, right? I mean, one of my friends said, Monique, don't create a speech, don't craft a speech, right? Craft a process and make that your speech. So the thing is, you have created an amazing community, right, in Iceland, right? And that is what you want to give, teach others. So all you need to do is think about it. How did I do it? And then kind of create a method around how you did it so other people can apply it too. And often, even though it was around a specific region in your case or product for someone else, the methodology will also work for someone else when they understand what was your thinking behind it, what steps did you take, right? And how did you implement things, right? So, yeah, but that is something, so, step by step. take care of that. Right?
Yep.
Great. Okay. I think everyone is starting to rush off after the breakfast, lunch, or dinner break, or whatever it was for all of you. But Yuna, Annie, Patty, thanks for staying until the very end. And again, I know that we were quite a few of us here from around the world today. So let's be in touch. And again, as you know, every month we run a speaker community call like that. So next month, again in July, we have another session before our summer break. We don't have a session in August, but definitely one in July. But Jay, before we move on, thank you first of all to you for being with us, for getting up early. I know you're in the US, you get up extra early for us, and we really appreciate it. So thank you for that. And again, it's lots of golden nuggets that you shared. As we always say, we share this in our Hall of Fame. So I know a lot of you want to watch it again or pick up additional things, or you have friends that you see that you feel that they need to actually build a stronger brand, to stand out more, to attract clients in an easier way, to position themselves in a stronger way, as a speaker, as an expert, as an entrepreneur. Share this with them, let them know. So thank you, Jay. I don't know if you want to say a couple of final words, a final inspirational message to round it off in a powerful way.
I just want to say thank you. In the words of Nike, 3 words, just do it. I mean, the only thing that is getting in your way is yourself. There are very few consequences to trying something, and it may, if it doesn't work out, it's a learning opportunity. And if you look at life that way, you're going to be very resilient and deliver very powerful results. So
right, and we always fail forward, and the good news is branding is something that we create over time, and we recreate it again and again and again.
Yes, we do.
And for our business. So thank you all for being on, and thank you, Jay, especially. And let's just go again, and give our brand a little bit of an uplift, after this powerful and priceless session. Thank you, Jay. All of you, see you next month again. And if you haven't downloaded our Speak to Scale map yet, don't miss that opportunity. Okay. And we'll be in touch and see each other next month. And in the meantime, in our Heart Power Global Nation. Okay. All the best for now. Cheers.
Bye-bye.